Hey, it's Seth Perler, and if you're pulling your hair out trying to figure out how to help your middle schooler or high schooler turn it around in school, this video is for you. This course is about a very simple idea, and that is the idea that the purpose of education is to help a student launch. And what I mean when I say launch is that they be able to have the tools and skills necessary to build and create a happy and healthy and successful future. But there's a problem, and that is that some students struggle with this thing called executive function. And these are kids who, if they don't figure it out, they will have trouble launching after high school or college. And the idea that this course is about is that executive function can be taught and it can get better, and that these kids can get the right tools and the right skills so that they can be successful in school and also successful in life. I'm Seth Perler, and my life is dedicated to helping struggling students turn it around so that they can have choices and opportunities and be happy and successful in their future. The type of kid I work with is in this roadblock pattern. You see, what happens is they start out the semester often very strong, and all of a sudden 6 to 8 weeks into the semester, bam, everything falls apart. Somehow you figure out that their grades have taken a nosedive, and you're looking at the grades and all of a sudden you're saying, what in the world happened here? You're convinced that they were doing fine, but 6 to 8 weeks into the semester, the same pattern has repeated itself and you're worried. Your child's drowning in school, the wheels have come off, grades have taken a nosedive, your child's well behind, and you're at a loss for how you can help them. You've tried everything you can and you're gonna try again. So you start the crazy making process of trying to help them turn it around for the rest of the semester. You try to help your child swim upstream and dig themselves out of holes because of missing assignments, late work, dealing with makeup work, terrible study habits, doing projects the night before, retakes, test corrections, forgetting to study, losing stuff, being unprepared, neglecting their responsibilities, losing their planners. Meanwhile, you're emailing teachers trying not to look like a helicopter pilot, but trying to get clarity on what's going on so you can help. But you're also worried because you see that this is affecting your child emotionally, like on a very real level. You see that maybe they're withdrawn, or maybe they're getting angry or moody or anxious or depressed or something, or maybe they're all out avoiding feeling anything about this because they have ways to avoid it. So you try to help your child, but they're resistant. They don't want your help. They procrastinate, they avoid, some of them lie, they're getting off task, they're not focused, they're distracted. Then you try to lecture them, explain the value of school. You try to talk some sense into them and logic them and help them understand how important this is. You tell them to be more disciplined. You've got so much potential. You're not working up to your ability. I know you're capable of more. What happened? I don't get it. How are you failing this class? I don't understand why you're not motivated to do this. You're making this so hard on yourself. It doesn't have to be this hard. Do you see how easy it would be if you just got your work in? Sometimes you argue and you yell and you have the classic homework battles, and you think maybe you should punish them. Maybe you should take away video games or electronics or something like that. Or maybe you should reward them more and give them more incentives. Sometimes you're just done and you say, I let go, I give up, fine, you do it, I'm not bugging you anymore, you got this. If you don't want my help, I'm done trying. But then what happens is the same pattern repeats itself again, and you don't know what to do to be helpful. And it's worse. You see a 0 on a project and you're like, how did you get a 0 on this project? You did the project. And your child might say, oh, well, I forgot to turn it in. You're like, how could you forget to turn in a major project like that? So you insist on helping now, and they say, leave me alone, I got this. I'm talking to the teacher tomorrow. The teacher just hasn't inputted the grades yet. I promise, I've got this, just stop bugging me. You want to believe them, their intentions are good, and they even seem to be doing well for a little bit. But then, bam, the same pattern repeats itself again. They're drowning in school. And you can't sit around passively not doing anything. So again, you try to help, but you don't know what to do to help. So there's one key question that must be answered. How do we change the pattern? If everything you've been doing isn't working, what will work? That's the question. And I'm not talking about a short term. I'm talking about what is going to move the needle. What is going to help your child get on a different trajectory? And this is where I can help. This is what I do day in and day out. This is my living. Parents and teachers often beat a dead horse trying to do things over and over and over that still aren't working. And I've asked myself this question, why do they keep doing things that don't work? And the reason is that they don't understand this thing called executive function. Executive function is at the root of these problems. Instead, parents and teachers tend to think that this has to do with laziness or not being motivated or not being disciplined or not trying hard enough or not caring enough about school. But these are not what's going on. These do not take into account the underlying issue, which is, again, executive function. This course breaks down executive function for you and your child. It helps you understand everything you need to know about executive function, and I walk you through step by step all of the strategies that I use day in and day out with real life students to help them change their experience in school. I'm teaching you exactly what I do and how I do it so that you can apply it and finally help your child turn it around. Basically, the way I teach it is there's a 3-part formula for change, and that formula is this. If you want change, you have to have the right foundation, then you have to implement, and then you have to maintain. And what that means is this. The foundation is the systems and mindsets that students need in order to change. So the first thing they have to do is build that foundation. The second thing they have to do is use that foundation, because your child often knows what to do, but they aren't implementing it. They aren't practicing it. They aren't making it become a habit. They aren't implementing it well enough or routinely enough to make it stick. And then the third thing, once they've got these systems and these mindsets and they've been using them and they're decent with using them, now they can sharpen the sword and maintain the systems and get better and better at the systems. So you want to help your child create change that's going to last for years. You don't want to just have a quick fix. You don't want them to just pass the semester at the last minute every semester. Trust me, that doesn't work. Now, this isn't just for school. These are the exact executive function skills that they will need in order to create a happy and successful future, no matter what career they go into. It doesn't matter. They will have to know how to execute. They will have to know how to manage time, how to be organized, how to plan, how to do the things that they're struggling with now. So the good news is that these aren't just school strategies. These are life strategies that are going to help your child for the rest of their life. So if you want to help your child and you want them to have a strong semester and you want them to get on a new trajectory, this course is for you. I've dedicated the last 24 years of my life to education. 12 years I was a teacher, 8 years I've been coaching the most complicated, struggling students you can possibly imagine, and I figured out what it takes to help a child turn it around. This is what I do day in and day out. But that experience isn't what makes me good at what I do. The actual secret is that I was that student. I was that struggling student. I almost failed out of high school. I in fact failed out of college. I dropped out of a second college before I failed out. All the way back to first grade, my progress reports and grade cards started having comments on them that I was daydreaming too much, that I wasn't trying hard enough, that I was lazy, that I was uninterested. Turns out that's not what was going on. I was struggling with executive function. By the time I dropped out of my second college, I was hopeless. I felt like a failure and I did not believe in me. And that is a horrible place to be in life. But I was able to turn it around. I was able to self-coach and get all the help I needed, and I worked harder than I've ever worked in my life before, and eventually I did go back to college and I've been able to create a happy and successful future. So I know exactly what your child is going through because I've been there myself. And I know exactly what you're going through because I work with parents like you day in and day out also to help them figure out how to deal with this. These are parents who are at their wits' end trying to figure out what to do to help make things better and not worse. Now, I'm not promising miracles. I'm not promising a magic bullet. Change is hard, and it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes energy. That's why this is a semester-long program, and that's why it's very in-depth. I'm in the business of change and helping families change their experience, not quick fixes. What I am promising you is that I will walk you through the exact steps that are necessary to create change, step by step, bit by bit. And I will explain it clearly and in a way that you and your child can apply. Now, this is not for everybody. The only students that this works for is students who actually want it, and not all students are ready for that. So at this point, you need to figure out if your child is ready for this and if this is worth your time and energy and money. So I made a video especially for students where I'm talking directly to them about this. And go ahead, I want you, the parents, to watch the video before you show it to them so that you know what's coming up. And then if you're interested in showing it to them, go ahead and show it to them and see what they think. And if there's buy-in and they want to do this, great. I do hope you'll be able to join us on this journey. Take care.